The next day, the scorching sun blazed down, its rays falling straight to the earth. Master Xiao Yin. Since the meeting ended, Xiao Yin and his companion had returned to the 10,000 Fires sect. At this moment, in the sect's meeting hall, the core high-ranking officials stood solemnly. Today, I will be heading to the sacred Flameland. After a brief pause, Xiao Yin stood up and smiled at the familiar strong figures around him. These individuals, whose strength had now reached the middle stage of the 4-star Do Xian, would, if they broke into the 5-star Do Xian, become a formidable force under Xiao Yan's command. When they returned to the Do Di continent in the future, he believed that with the power of the forces handed over to Kailin, a mighty sect force would naturally emerge. Master, the news of the sacred Flameland has already spread throughout the city. May I ask how many strong members of our sect you plan to bring along? Elder Huayun slowly inquired, his tone showing a clear devotion to Xiao Yin, as the high-ranking officials of the 10,000 Fires sect had fully pledged their allegiance. The sacred Flameland is a place fraught with danger. So, I intend to go alone, without bringing a single soldier. Looking at the eager eyes of the strong individuals present, Xiao Yin paused for a moment before responding. What? The crowd was immediately taken aback, their voices filled with astonishment. Perhaps soon, I will leave the Ghost Realm and return to the Do Di continent, where I have many enemies. Xiao Yin spoke again, his voice carrying a subtle pressure, but his meaning was clear. Master, we are willing to follow you to the death. Hearing Xiao Yan's words, the high-ranking officials quickly spoke up, their voices filled with longing. Most of the strong members in the 10,000 Fires sect were human, and while the Ghost Realm was rich in energy, it was not their true home. The Do Di continent, on the other hand, would undoubtedly be a much better place for them. Good. During my time in the sacred Flameland, please take care of the sect's affairs, Sect Master Hua. Anything that can't be brought along, just leave it behind. Xiao Yin said. Understood, Master. Elder Hua smiled in response. Thank you, everyone. Farewell. Xiao Yin laughed loudly, his voice trembling, and then made his way toward the sacred Flameland. Sect Master, we can finally return to the human world. How joyful! As Xiao Yin left, the high-ranking officials of the sect wiped away tears, smiling. Pass down the orders to manage the sect's wealth, cultivation methods, and Do skills. Take everything we can with us. Also, send strong members to communicate with the Spirit Hall's head. With Master Xiao Yan's connections, he won't make things difficult for us. Moreover, I can't shake the feeling that this man will cause a real storm in the future. As soon as these words were spoken, a series of commands were issued in an orderly fashion. After some time, Xiao Yin, leading the immense power of the 10,000 Fires sect, returned to the Do Di continent, causing a great upheaval. That war covered the sky, and in the end, Xiao Yan's fame spread across the great thousand worlds, establishing his dominant position. The endless flame domain came into being because of this. At the same time, the powerful individuals from the other 6 major sects in the Earth Spirit Academy began heading toward the sacred Flameland. In other places, similar scenes unfolded in the other 4 branches of the 5 great academies. After all, the allure of the undying fire was immense, and without interference from the 5 great academies' stronger figures, this would be the most intense clash among the younger generation of the 5 great academies in centuries. The Elder Council, a special faction in charge of overseeing the matters of the ferocious soul domain, had begun summoning some of the ancient, nearly immortal members. In the Elder Council, the elder figures usually traveled the world, gathering talented individuals to bring back as disciples. However, the Elder Council had the smallest number of disciples among the 5 great academies, likely no more than a handful. Xun'er, for this Undying Fire expedition, you will be the only one from the Elder Council to go. Is there any problem? As for whether you can obtain it, that depends on your luck, the old man asked sleepily. Master, I understand. The young, handsome disciple replied joyfully, then cupped his hands and smiled. Set off immediately. With a wave of the old man's hand, the disciple was sent through a spatial passage toward the sacred Flameland. The Soul Hall was rather peculiar, for its research sites were located in dark, underground spaces hundreds or even thousands of meters below the surface. Inside the soul hall, there were only soul bodies, no humans. Master, we? In the quiet black hall, two women stood slowly. The woman had an ordinary appearance with long hair and simple clothing, but her soul power was on par with Xiao Yan's. The things we've been researching in the soul hall have already been stolen by the Devourer of Souls. That bastard, he promised me that once we found the method, he would help us refine a body to restore our human forms. But in the end, he broke his word. However, the Devourer of Souls has forgotten that although this method is incredibly heaven-defying, it is incomplete. And I left a backup plan. Xun'er, remember this. If the Devourer of Souls really uses that method in the end, we will make him pay the price. As she spoke, a wave of madness surged in the woman's eyes. This woman was none other than the current head of the Soul Hall. Her strength was only at the 7-star Docian level, but her soul power was overwhelming. Moreover, there were endless test subjects brought here for their research. Unfortunately, during the final stage of their research into the soul body's ability to devour sacred flames, though they had found a solution, a traitor among the core members had alerted the Devourer of Souls. In an instant, as the project succeeded, all the researchers were wiped out by mysterious powerful beings. Had she not possessed extraordinary skills, she too would have fallen to these mysterious forces. The mysterious strongman was incredibly powerful, able to come and go freely in the Soul Hall despite the numerous guards. It was likely that only the Devourer of Souls in the entire Devouring Soul domain had such power. Among those killed was the head of the Soul Hall's husband, as well as Xun'er's sister. Xun'er, being the head's disciple, harbored deep hatred for the Devourer of Souls. Therefore, the two of them were slowly concocting extreme plans. Before that, we should go to the sacred Flameland. If we can obtain the Undying Fire and use that method to severely injure the Devourer of Souls, you will have a faint chance of devouring 2 sacred flames. At that point, I will pass on my life's knowledge to you, helping you reach the 8-star level. The head of the Soul Hall's expression became strange. This secret was known only to her. After many years of research in the Soul Hall, they had explored countless projects, but the only one the Devourer of Souls knew about was the soul body's ability to devour sacred flames. As for the project of devouring 2 sacred flames, it had been secretly researched by the head of the Soul Hall and had only recently shown progress. Unfortunately, the only person left to handle these projects now was herself. Disciple accepts the order. Before the Devourer of Souls falls, we shall not perish easily. Xun'er's expression turned cold, and her figure disappeared like a ghost, heading towards the sacred Flameland. In the Tribunal Hall, within the resplendent golden hall, several figures slowly appeared. They were enveloped in a layer of pure white aura, shining brightly and gently like the first rays of the sun at dusk. Under this power, all the strong individuals in the hall carried an unresistible, authoritative presence. The so-called Sacred Hall was the core of the Tribunal Hall, the place where countless decrees regarding the management of the lower realms in the Devouring Soul domain were issued. To put it bluntly, the Tribunal Hall was like the steward of the entire Devouring Soul domain, holding immense power. Once a wanted notice was issued, the Tribunal Hall would take the lead, and together with the Judgment Hall, the two forces would unite to suppress with overwhelming force. Being jointly wanted by these two factions meant imminent doom, as one managed power while the other controlled military strength. Master! At this moment, in the center of the Golden Hall, 2 orderly rows of guards stood with calm expressions, their gazes fixed on a man at the far end of the hall. At the far end, a middle-aged man stood tall. It was one of the young men standing in front of him who spoke. On the chest of the middle-aged man, a golden leaf appeared. The golden leaf was soft in texture, but it carried a soul-shocking power. With such soul power, it was hard for any ordinary strongman to face this man. The number of golden and silver leaves determined one's position in the Tribunal Hall. Silver leaves came in 5, and with each additional leaf, one's status in the Tribunal Hall significantly increased. As for the golden leaf, there were only 1 or 2 in total. Currently, there were only 3 known golden-leafed experts in the Tribunal Hall, and these three individuals were undoubtedly the true powerhouses of the Tribunal Hall. 2 golden leaves were said to represent a power level approaching that of the 4 Temple Lords, but throughout history, only one person has ever held such a status. Lord Lungmo. As the middle-aged man's eyes opened, the 2 rows of guards spoke in unison, their voices orderly and as thunderous as a storm. Deng Qing. Lung Ju nodded lightly in response, then turned his gaze to the man standing behind him and spoke softly. Dean, your subordinate is here. The young man beside him shuddered slightly and respectfully responded. The issue with the Undying Fire ruins, though suspicious, is also a kind of trial for you. If you succeed in obtaining the Undying Fire from the ruins, it will be your reward, and in addition, you can enter the Judgment Land to receive the inheritance of judgment. Lungmo's fingers slowly clenched, and he couldn't help but tighten them as he looked at Deng Qing and spoke. Understood, sir. Deng Qing's heart surged with fiery excitement upon hearing this. How many people will you need? After a moment, Lungmo asked again. 1 disciple is enough. As soon as he spoke, a black, ghostly chi began to envelop Deng Qing, and his body vanished like a shadow, clearly heading toward the sacred flame domain. Hee. Although Deng Qing is young, he already possesses 3 silver leaves. Given time, he will certainly inherit your will, Lord. One of the guards couldn't help but speak up. Perhaps, but we should leave now. After watching Deng Qing depart, the powerful figure swayed slightly, as if constructing a spatial passage. Lord, where are we heading? The captain of the guards couldn't help but ask. To the Temple of the Lord of Souls. Recently, the soul-devouring domain seems to be unsettled, and with our power, we cannot afford to miss this. Let's go. As soon as the words were spoken, dozens of figures moved, heading directly for the soul-devouring domain. Among them, even the weakest had reached 6-star Dosien. On the other side, Judgment Hall. The Judgment Hall holds the power of judgment within the soul-devouring domain. In simple terms, it controls absolute battle power. The strongest in the Judgment Hall may rank second among the 5 great halls, but the first place can only be claimed by the Judgment Hall. The Judgment Hall commands all the top forces within the soul-devouring domain. Aside from the Temple of the Lord of Souls, it is a powerful existence capable of supporting an entire realm. Here, there is a precedent for decapitation before reporting, so this force is undoubtedly the leader of the 5 great halls. Head Hua, how should we handle the Undying Fire ruins? At this moment, on the mountainside of Judgment Mountain, 2 men were slowly descending. Their expressions were calm, one looking youthful, the other appearing old and frail, yet both held terrifying, earth-shattering power. Sendu Shao, the man known as Head Hua, said with a hearty laugh. For the grand event in the soul-devouring domain, involving numerous factions and the 5 great halls, how can we, the Judgment Hall, not be part of it? I'll take care of it at once. But there is something else? The elderly man nodded slightly, but his expression soon turned strange. What is it? Noticing the serious expression, Head Hua's smile froze. In the soul-devouring domain, aside from the 4 great temples mentioning the soul-devouring domain, there may be powerful beings entering our territory. Recently, we've been secretly guarding the surrounding regions of the soul-devouring domain, and many of our brothers have gone missing. Some of our experts ventured out, but it seems that this is not the work of the soul-devouring domain's strong ones, because the places where they disappeared are thick with evil energy, and based on the investigation, the source of this energy is likely from the extraterritorial evil clan. Perhaps it's from the king of the extraterritorial evil clan. The elderly man's voice turned hoarse as he spoke. Even at their level, facing mid-level, experts of the extraterritorial evil clan is still quite dangerous. Extraterritorial evil clan kings. Lord of Souls. Soul-devouring domain. It seems that this time, the Lord of Souls plan is becoming more interesting. Proceed as planned. The rest will be arranged by me. The man finished speaking, throwing his head back and laughing before departing. Head Hua's current strength must be on par with the 4 great temple lords. Truly, it is terrifying. After the old man spoke, his figure vanished as he went to arrange for the disciples heading toward the sacred flame domain. In an instant, The high-ranking figures of the soul-devouring domain split into two factions, one searching for the strong ones of the soul-devouring domain, while the other secretly guarded against the aura of the extraterritorial evil clan. Without the oversight of the high-ranking experts, the battle for the Undying Fire Ruins became the most heated competition the soul-devouring domain had seen in 100 years, with countless factions now vying for it. But no one knew who would ultimately claim the Undying Fire. As the news of the Undying Fire's appearance spread, many realms within the soul-devouring domain were thrown into turmoil, with numerous factions competing for it. This is the central region of the 5 great realm domains. The ground here is covered in eerie white bones, and the air is desolate. It is clearly the battlefield where the ferocious soul domain and the extraterritorial evil clan fought a fierce battle. Bones are stacked in layers, with the evil aura of countless skeletons filling the air, and there are numerous treasures left by fallen powerful beings. Looking around, the vast plain seems endless, but at this moment, the ominous aura of the desolate ghost abyss has been completely replaced by a blood-red glow. This blood-red aura contains an extremely intense heat, like the scorching sun in the sky, constantly releasing terrifying energy. We're almost there. Meanwhile, Xiaoyin had left the Earth Spirit Hall alone, following the guidance of the information he had received, heading towards the desolate ghost abyss. However, the journey was long, taking him several days. Wum. A blazing white light suddenly erupted, and the spatial passage shattered in an instant. Xiaoyan's body abruptly halted in midair above the desolate ghost abyss. Wum. The moment Xiaoyan arrived, the power of the 2 sacred flames in his body involuntarily adhered to him, releasing a dazzling battle intent as they focused on the blood-red aura in this world. Even the Undying Leaf and Undying Hellfire Sparrow underwent slight changes. Such fluctuations. It seems the Undying Fire is real. Looking at this scene and feeling the energy fluctuations within him, Xiaoyin was fully convinced that the news of the Undying Fire was true, and a faint smile of relief appeared at the corner of his mouth. However, with such a vast space, where exactly did the Undying Fire manifest? Xiaoyin pondered as he gazed across the area. Forget it. I'll head to the center first. That's where the most extreme fiery power should be, and there seems to be the aura of other powerful beings as well. With that, Xiaoyin landed and easily walked toward the center of the desolate ghost abyss. Creak. As soon as Xiaoyin took a few steps forward, the space where he had been standing suddenly shook violently and shattered, and a man full of demonic energy appeared with a single step. A bit late, the man murmured as he looked at the spot where Xiaoyin had just been. This man, in human form, appeared refined, like a scholar, but the aura hidden deep within him was no less than that of any powerful being. In fact, this man's strength had likely reached the 8-star Do Xian level. He was none other than a mighty figure from the monster realm, Black Fiend Dragonwolf. The practitioner of the flame mantra the Lord was looking for should be here. However, with the method given by the Lord, I could only confirm that his aura is indeed present in the desolate ghost abyss, but beyond that, it's beyond my ability. Black Fiend Dragonwolf shook his head. Black Fiend Dragonwolf had left the monster realm and entered the ghost realm long ago. Initially, he sought miraculous medicinal herbs to heal the demon emperor's power, and only then did he begin looking for the flame mantra practitioner. As time passed, the materials gathered, and he was able to track down this place. As long as he found the flame mantra practitioner, this trip to the ghost realm would be a complete success. There seems to be some aura. Let's check it out. The next moment, Black Fiend Dragonwolf raised his hand and grasped the subtle aura in the air. This aura was unmistakably left by the 2 sacred flames of Xiaoyin. This is Sacred Flame? Sacred Flame. Flame mantra. We've finally found it. As soon as these words left his mouth, Black Fiend Dragonwolf's body trembled violently, and he immediately charged toward the direction Xiaoyin had gone. Boom. Xiaoyin calmly walked across the flat ground, thinking about how to successfully tame the Undying Fire, when suddenly, the surrounding earth and sand began to tremble uncontrollably. Swish, swish. What's this? A dark green light suddenly filled the area around Xiao Yin for several thousand meters, sealing the entire space. This is a domain? The power of a ferocious soul domain expert has arrived? Xiao Yan's mind focused, and his face turned grim. He immediately prepared to use his two sacred flames, the flame mantra, and other techniques. From his soul perception, Xiao Yin sensed that the strength of this individual was at least at the 6-star Do Xian level. Coupled with the mysterious domain, an overwhelming sense of danger engulfed his heart. Even from the seemingly ordinary dark green domain, Xiao Yin could detect a terrifying power comparable to the devouring realm of the Devourer of Souls. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The next moment, a figure, wrapped in dark green light, shot towards Xiao Yin like a thunderbolt, exuding a powerful and terrifying wave of energy from its palm. Dragon God's first transformation. Flame-devouring technique. Xiao Yan's expression turned tense as he unleashed all his abilities, instantly raising his aura to the level of a half-step 5-star Do Xian. At present, Xiao Yan's power was at the mid-4-star Do Xian stage, and after using the flame-devouring technique, his strength increased by 2.5 stars, reaching the half-step 5-star Do Xian level. However, even with Xiao Yan's strength, in this dark green space, his gaze locked onto the strange man, and a deep sense of fear began to surge within him. Whoosh! The dark green figure, seeing this, showed no sign of holding back. His figure moved like a ghost, and his attack landed before Xiao Yin in the blink of an eye. Hold on! Xiao Yan's pupils constricted as his pores tightened, his veins bulging, and madness filled his gaze. Buzz! At that moment, the yellow and green sacred flames completely enveloped Xiao Yin, resembling flame spirits. It's clear now, there's no doubt this is the guy. The dark green figure slowly faded and stood quietly next to Xiao Yin. Even the dark green aura around him began to heal Xiao Yan's aura. What kind of power is this? Xiao Yin, confused, gazed at the dark green figure's actions. It's not Do Qi, nor ghostly Qi. It seems like some kind of overbearing, supreme aura. Xiao Yin was completely puzzled by the dark green figure's actions. Crack! A sudden sound echoed, and something within Xiao Yin seemed to have been provoked. A wave of black energy, like a sleeping monarch, began to slowly awaken. Little brat, a soft voice echoed in the dark green domain, commanding as though it were that of a ruler. Master! Xiao Yin, now enveloped in the dark green glow, looked at the black light and couldn't help but speak. Devourer of Souls? This guy must have quite a high status. But a mere avatar cannot resist me. I bear him no malice. I just needed to verify a few things. Disappear, the dark green man muttered, raising his hand, and an even more domineering dark green aura was unleashed, instantly erasing the Devourer of Souls avatar. Gulp. This guy. Who is he really? Xiao Yin, not daring to make any rash moves, swallowed hard, then gazed at the dark green man with a complex expression. Before leaving, the Devourer of Souls had clearly left some life-preserving measures on Xiao Yin, and the energy avatar was one of them. But this energy avatar actually had the strength of a 7-star Do Xian. The fact that this man had so easily erased it made Xiao Yin realize the man's power must be 8-star Do Xian? Heh. Seeing Xiao Yan's complex expression, the black fiend dragon wolf grinned, a sense of satisfaction swelling in his heart. Because just moments ago, the black fiend dragon wolf had completely figured out the man's background. From his senses, Xiao Yin was indeed a practitioner of the flame mantra, and his body contained 2 sacred flames. This was a crucial step in breaking the Demon Emperor's seal, and Xiao Yin was one of the most important people for that task. The conditions match, but his power seems a bit too weak. Forget it, let's go. At the end of his sentence, the black fiend dragon wolf raised his hand without hesitation, and an overwhelming force spread out. Soon, a spot in the dark green space twisted in a strange manner, and special space-related energy began to gather. Time-space wormhole? Xiao Yan's expression suddenly changed. Space passages are usually for medium to short-range movements, and only those with the strength above 5-star Do Xian can create them. As for time-space wormholes, they are used for long-distance space travel. Only those with the strength above 7-star Dosian can use them. These wormholes can cross entire realms, and to be blunt, anyone caught in a time-space wormhole could be transported to other realms. Though this is a bit rash, my time is running short, so little brat, I hope you won't hold it against me. I bear you no ill will. I'm doing this for some personal matters, and after it's done, you will certainly be well rewarded. My apologies. Let's go. Without further hesitation, the black fiend dragon wolf grinned and waved his hand, instantly pulling Xiao Yin into the time-space wormhole. You bastard! Xiao Yin, feeling the irresistible force, instantly became furious, countless forces surging within him, and wild thoughts flooded his mind as though he was preparing for a desperate strike. Whoosh whoosh. This ancient force carried no particular nature, yet it made the black fiend dragon wolf shudder violently. Crash. Following this strange fluctuation emanating from Xiao Yin, the black fiend dragon wolf halted its attack, speaking calmly. Forget it. I was too impulsive this time. Let's wait until the undying fire subsides. As soon as these words fell, the void realm here completely dissipated, and the black fiend dragon wolf vanished as well. It understood that the aura Xiao Yin had just exuded was unmistakably that of the Xiao clan's power, combined with some mysterious force it had never encountered before, one that carried a lethal threat even to itself. Buzz, buzz, buzz. Suddenly, within the dissipating realm, a pair of silver eyes appeared abruptly, radiating a majestic aura. An 8-star Dosian. Long-range spatial diffusion. It seems this kid is of critical importance to the soul-devouring domain. Forget it. Already having second thoughts, the black fiend dragon wolf shook its head upon seeing the silver eyes manifest again. Crack. In an instant, the silver eyes disappeared along with the dark green domain. However, Xiao Yin knew that these eyes were undeniably the power of Xun'er. Phew, phew, phew. As the two forces vanished, Xiao Yin fell to the ground, gasping heavily. If not for the sudden emergence of Xun'er's power and the forces within his own body, he would have been dragged away by this creature. In that case, it would have been a desperate fight to the death. After all, he hadn't completed the final step in the ghost realm and had no intention of leaving prematurely. What a strange encounter. Let's get back to the task at hand. Muttering to himself, Xiao Yin retrieved several pills and swallowed them, regaining a fraction of his strength before heading toward the core of the desolate ghost abyss. That little one is indeed protected by a strong figure from the soul-devouring domain. This time, I acted recklessly. Still, it seems both the soul-devouring domain's expert and the light demon are in the ferocious soul domain for a reason. Let's observe for now. With such protection for Xiao Yin, I'll need to approach him during the upcoming battle to make him follow me back to the monster realm. Force won't work here. As these thoughts crossed its mind, the black fiend dragon wolf slowly disappeared, concealing its aura while covertly trailing Xiao Yin to ensure his safety. At the center of the desolate ghost abyss lay an unusual region, perpetually shrouded in howling winds and wailing sounds that chilled the heart. This is the center? Moments later, Xiao Yin arrived at the core, his gaze locking onto a towering pillar of light at its center. He was visibly shocked. On the endless plain, countless white bones and broken weapons were scattered, yet at the very center stood the abrupt appearance of the light pillar. It was shrouded in a blood-red flame, which, despite its low temperature, exuded a strange aura of immortality. As Xiao Yin approached, the undying leaf and the undying netherbird within him erupted with brilliant ripples. If not for his efforts to suppress them, they might have burst out of his body. Let's go down and see. Xiao Yin murmured, noticing numerous hidden figures among the surrounding hills and rocks. You're the last one to arrive. A light, melodic laugh came from behind him just as Xiao Yin landed. AI Xun'er? Standing on the ground, Xiao Yin turned toward the source of the voice, his eyes shifting briefly back to the massive pillar of light before resting on the figure behind him in surprise. Come here, AI Xun'er beckoned, motioning Xiao Yin to join them. So, everyone's here, someone murmured as Xiao Yin arrived. The few individuals present stood slowly, their movements deliberate. What's going on? Xiao Yin asked, stepping into a concealed space within the rocks. He noticed that these individuals were none other than the powerhouses from the other 6 sects of the 7 Sects Conference. To his surprise, they were quietly gathered here, seemingly waiting for something. This place is surrounded by countless experts. For us 7, the greatest threat comes from the other 4 halls, Xun'er explained. As expected, Xiao Yin extended his soul power and immediately sensed the powerful, concealed auras encircling the light pillar. They're waiting here to enter the sacred flame grounds. However, the sacred flame grounds were discovered by the Lord of the ferocious soul domain and sealed by him. Only when the powerhouses from the 5 great halls arrive can the seal be jointly lifted, Kong'an added after a moment. How many from the other 4 halls have come? Xiao Yin inquired. Look, they're here. As the words fell, countless pairs of eyes within the space locked onto a certain void above the plains. A brilliant aura began to flow forth slowly, resembling stars in the night sky. Finally, we've arrived at the sacred flame grounds, came the laughter of several voices. Suddenly, in the void above, 4 figures emerged one after another. Yet, as their presence materialized, an oppressive silence blanketed the desolate plains of the desolate ghost abyss. Now that the 5 major factions had gathered, the sealing of the Undying Flame's sacred flame grounds was imminent. Such a priceless treasure was bound to ignite a true storm of bloodshed. The real drama was only just beginning. They've finally arrived. The sudden appearance of the 4 figures in the void drew the fiery gazes of countless factions surrounding the towering pillar of light. Whoosh! As the void sealed shut once more, the 4 figures descended steadily to the ground. So this is the desolate ghost abyss, the place where the undying flame will appear? A man among the 4 spoke slowly, his voice filled with fervor. That guy is Feng Qingyang of the Elder Council, a bona fide early 5-star Docian. With the Elder Council's experts backing him, he's going to be one of our most troublesome competitors, Xun'er said, her gaze complex. Now that everyone is here, let's unseal the grounds. Someone from the surrounding factions spoke haughtily. Wait, before opening the seal, shouldn't we thin the crowd a bit? Too many people will make the fight for the undying flame far too chaotic. Oh, isn't this Xun'er from the Earth Spirit Hall? Today, it seems you're not as formidable as you used to be. Merely a perfect 4-star Docian. Without Ling Yu and the others to shield you, let's see how you handle things now, Feng Qingyang sneered, his gaze locking onto Xun'er, his voice dripping with mockery. Conflict between the Elder Council and Earth Spirit Hall had long simmered, fueled by the Elder Council disciples' infatuation with Xun'er, who had always ignored them. Though veiled in the past, the tension now flared openly in the absence of their top fighters. This bastard! Xun'er clenched her fists, her expression sour. She understood all too well that Feng Qingyang's provocation was a deliberate taunt. Yet the disparity in their strength left her biting her lip in frustration. Rumors only go so far. Perhaps it's time for a test, a voice cut in. From behind Xun'er, Xiao Yin stepped forward, a faint smile on his face. Though his tone was calm, the threat was unmistakable. Oh, a mid-4-star Docian? Since when could a mere mid-4-star Docian speak for the Earth Spirit Hall? Feng Qingyang was momentarily stunned before a smug grin spread across his face. Xiao Yin, you, Xun'er looked at him in confusion. Helping a friend, that's all. Thanks for your help back then, Xiao Yin said, turning with a smile. Back when he was in the Earth Spirit Tower, Xun'er had quietly assisted the 10,000 Fires sect and Xiao Gui. At the time, the sect's growing fame had provoked many factions, and it was her intervention that suppressed their dissent. Xiao Gui had later told Xiao Yin about her aid, solidifying her as an ally in Xiao Yan's eyes. His current actions naturally won Xun'er's gratitude, her expression softening as she regarded him. Imph, a mere mid-4-star Docian. I'll teach you what it means to face a real expert, Feng Qingyang scoffed. An early 5-star Docian is impressive, but teaching me a lesson? I think you might be overestimating yourself, Xiao Yin replied, the cold curve of his lips exuding danger. Xiao Yin, disciple of the Earth Spirit Hall. He introduced himself with a faint smile, clasping his hands in a salute. Today, without anyone to protect you, I'll ensure you learn a proper lesson. As Feng Qingyang's words fell, his body erupted with a deep brown dough qi, surging like a tide. The oppressive aura filled the skies, weighing down heavily on the battlefield. Xiao Yin. Seeing Xiao Yin like this, AI Liner couldn't help but feel concerned. After all, the gap in strength between them was simply too vast. Xiao Yin. Is this guy the one who defeated Ling Yu in the Earth Spirit Hall and became the so-called #1 powerhouse of the Earth Hall? At this moment, one of the four, a figure cloaked entirely in black robes, spoke softly. Xun'er, at the same stage as Xiao Yin with her 5-star Do Xian early-stage strength, possessed one of the most formidable soul powers among the experts present. However, even so, Xun'er could sense a faint aura of danger emanating from Xiao Yin. Their grudge isn't something trivial, let them fight it out. This way, there will be fewer enemies in the competition for the Undying fire. Though, I don't believe he has the strength for it. The other two powerful figures from the Tribunal Hall and Judgment Hall said, half-jokingly, Xiao Yin, since you're seeking death, then I will grant your wish. Heavenly Yuan Python. A startled cry rang out, and in an instant, a massive energy python of deep brown power appeared beside Feng Qingyang. Heavenly Sky's 4 fingers. Xiao Yin, upon seeing this, was not overly surprised. He raised a finger and suddenly pointed at Feng Qingyang. Fooling around, die. Seeing Xiao Yin's scorn, Feng Qingyang snorted coldly. His surrounding energy immediately surged into the giant python, amplifying its power, causing the experts present to hold their breath. It seemed as though Xiao Yin would soon pay the price for his contempt of the Xianxian Lake. Converge? Xiao Yin spoke softly, and instantly, countless energies gathered towards him in the space around. What's going on? Seeing this sudden turn of events, the experts present couldn't help but cry out in surprise. The energy that had been gathering towards Feng Qingyang suddenly reversed and shot towards Xiao Yin instead. The suppression in cultivation techniques. Xiao Yan's cultivation technique is actually more advanced than Feng Qingyang's. The two from the Tribunal Hall said in astonishment. Get away. Witnessing this strange turn of events, Feng Qingyang's expression twisted into a snarl. The terrifying energy python in his hand immediately shot towards Xiao Yin, its power startling. 4th finger, sky-reaching heaven. Xiao Yin spoke calmly, and in the next moment, a brilliant finger of light, piercing through the heavens, collided with Feng Qingyang's attack. Whoosh! Whoosh! A series of ear-piercing explosions rang out in the air. Moments later, the space returned to calm, but Xiao Yin remained unharmed. A cold smile curled at the corner of his mouth as he stared at Feng Qingyang, whose aura seemed to fluctuate uneasily.